back. You're still watching World of Art right here on OG TV. But you know how we do it. We bring you guests every week, every Sunday, and we talk about art. Today we're being joined by a painter and also a senior officer in the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Ogun State. No other person but Olubukola Samuels herself on the program today. And you are going to know more about this person as well as our words and, of course, all the things she does in promotion of art in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us today. Pleasure is mine. So, we're going to talk about you. We'll talk about your works, the importance of art in our society, the roles everyone has to play. I mean, you're doing your own role right now, and it's evident in a lot of your works, which we're going to talk about. But let's start our conversation with you. I always love to engage our guests on the program on their journey into art. For a couple of persons, their journey has not been entirely smooth. Some never wanted to be an artist, and then destiny happened and they found themselves in this industry. While some were privileged to be born into the family of artists, so it was just an easy sail for them. What was yours like?
Well, mine wasn't. I started my journey in Lagos in my teen age. I didn't have a teacher in my secondary school. I happened to be the only.
No one says that.
I happened to be the only student that did WAEC in Immaculate Comprehensive High School, Maryland. At that time, there was no teacher. Everybody wanted to go into sciences, and I said no. There was a particular incident that happened. My teachers recommended that I go for sciences, and I insisted that I wanted arts. And it kept going on for quite a while. I would go into the classroom, I will not concentrate. And at some point, my parents had to be invited.
Did you know that you could draw or
Yes,
paint as a
because at that time, funnily, nobody could touch my desk or my furniture because there were artworks all over. Even my notebooks, my textbooks, my exercise books, you could see the head of the teacher or one of my colleagues on my exercise books or my textbooks. So interestingly, most of the teachers got to know that I liked arts, but they couldn't help me because they were not fine arts teachers. But as time went on, we were preparing for WAEC, and at the last minute, the questions were passed down, and fine arts is such that you had practical and theory.
So how were you even able to write an exam if
So
you had no coaching?
till date, I can't really explain. I just know that I was destined. So somehow, the teachers contributed money for me to do my practical.
Was that serious?
Yes, I was the only student in the classroom, and the examiner finally came because after begging the principal to at least send someone to come and invigilate only me, of course. So at the end of the day, I came out with A2.
Wow.
Yes. And I could remember that while leaving the school, before leaving the school, they had already employed a fine art teacher.
What's your motivation?
Yeah. So that was my journey. And I remember when I wanted to go to the university, everybody was saying, study law. I was always shaking my, because I'm not really much of a talkative. I would just keep quiet and be looking at you. Whatever I want to do, I'll do. So, but my parents backed me up. They were in full support of what I wanted to do, and they respected my decision. So I know I had to wait at home for at least a year, and I insisted that if I could not study abroad, I wanted to go to the best fine arts school in Nigeria, which then happened to be Ahmadu Bello University. So I went there, but unfortunately I didn't complete my studies there because there was strike here and there. There was religious riot and all that. So I haven't spent like a year or two at home waiting for resumption, which didn't happen. So it dawned on me that I was wasting time. So I did a transfer of study to the Obafemi Awolowo University, where I completed my BA in fine arts. So I finally completed in Obafemi Awolowo University, and that was how my journey started. But when I served, and I still needed to do something about my quest for exploring creativity. So I was enrolled. I gained. I worked with the state government in the teaching as department. I went to quite a number of schools. I served in quite a number of schools in the Ogun State Teaching Service Commission. Sorry, I spent 10 years teaching, but I didn't find fulfillment. I didn't find fulfillment because in the public schools, we had to do a lot of work because of the students. There were many, and some students were not privileged to buy material and all that, and that served like an impediment in their learning.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fulfilled. So I transferred my service again to the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, and I started my journey in earnest. I was in the visual arts units, then a unit. Along the line, I became the head of units. And from there, I noticed that no day will pass that I will not paint. I was always, setting targets for myself that I had to do something every day.
Yeah, something that you love.
And coincidentally, I never thought about staging an exhibition or anything, but I was just doing that out of passion. I just wanted to paint.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in the university, I begged one of my colleagues to teach me how to do watercolor, but he didn't. But at that time, going back when I was employed as an cultural officer in the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, I started learning how to paint with watercolor. And watercolor happens to be a very technical medium. Very, very technical, because once you make a mistake, you cannot, it's not easy for you to amend. But if you are talking about acrylic, you are talking about oil, you can easily paint over it, because watercolor is opaque. So I picked interest in watercolor. So I started doing that. Every day I'll set the target, I must do something, I must paint something. And before I knew what was happening, I had over 50 works.
So you staged an exhibition.
I didn't. But I found out that anytime anybody comes to my office, they find me painter. So we start a conversation and we'll talk about it. And from there on, they will go and do something that we have discussed, and they'll come back with testimonies of successes. That was when I started thinking in my head that I think I have what it takes to facilitate, exhibitions and workshops. But I still didn't do anything about it. I had IT students coming. They would train under us as a unit. Thereon, we transited into a department. I was a deputy director then. So we had some works, quite a lot of works that was commissioned by the state government. For example, the works under the bridge at NMPC, we started off with that. And then also we started off under the present administration with the works, iconic works under the bridge. I had my director then. And we started the work. But one thing that really helped me most in my journey is that I mobilized a lot of artists because of the relationships I had with them when they came for their IT, either for their IT or their youth service call. I called them back and then we started working. I engaged them. We had like over 30 artisans coming in to do that work. And that work has been there from inception, from this present administration up till now.
So I'm going to say that your journey into art was quite an interesting one that I would say personal determination played a key role. You had huge support of your teachers, your parents, and this is where we are now in your journey. This is something that not a lot of people or young talents in Nigeria was able to get for themselves. I know vividly someone who had this talent like you did. They're very young boy then in school, but there was nobody to push for him, not even his parent, even the teachers failed him. And years later, I always tell this story because when I later get to know what this boy was into, It was nothing to write home about. And each time I hear the story, I just feel sad. Like this is one talent that has just gone down the drain because there was no necessary support. Now, this is a boy I know. Imagine there are more than that in the society. Imagine every community, every family has that one person and they are not paying key attention. You shared your testimony. I still also want you to talk to people right now who are watching. People, even as much as art is recognized globally for its importance, its value to individuals or society, people still do not give the same respect they give to professional careers like doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers. They still believe art should be secondary. But that's why we have people like you talking about it. But I still need you to, re-emphasize now. This time you're talking to parent individuals that can help make it work. Sometimes the parents might not say it, but maybe one individual, it could be a neighbor, it could be anybody in the society that could push that one talent to become something great in the society.
Okay. I actually have a lot of parents coming in to tell me that they notice that their words have a particular trait in them, and I also do online training too, because I don't really have the time because of my government work, but I still give time to identify students or children that have that
And the
special
funny
talent.
thing about this is you will always identify because they will always want to express themselves.
Exactly. And so I've had a lot of them coming, and that is why I make sure that anybody that comes to my office or I come across, I talk about my passion. Even if it's not fine arts that you want to do, if it's not painting, if it's not, it could be Adire. Adire is making waves. Like, for example, I have one of my students that came from OAU also to serve, or no, to do IT when I was still in the cultural center as the head of unit. After his IT, at the completion of his IT, he came back to tell me that he was going to go and serve. Then he came back again after service here and said I should look for a job for him in the civil service. I said, no, you already have your job. So I took it upon myself. I groomed him. I made sure that I gave him attention. I motivated him. And he started working on his brand. And I started marketing his brand. And I've noticed something about discovering creativity. Once you put it in your mind that you want to create something out of nothing in somebody else's life, there is a window for you also. And that is my testimony, because I have drifted a little bit away from painting now because of time. But I'm a kind of person that I don't want to leave the sphere of creativity. So I delved into Adire. No, now that guy started Adire. I started marketing his Adire. Initially, I was just marketing it. I would just sell and give him his proceeds. At a point, he just called me and said, Mom, I want you to start selling this Adire and putting something on it. So I started my own business in Adire. So I was sowing a seed, but that seed did not just germinate for him. It returned back to me. So at the end of the day, when you are trying to groom somebody, you are also grooming yourself. Because I never knew that I could do that. But it opened my eyes just because of my motivation to get him, rooted and grounded in what he was doing. And right now, he's making waves.
Well, that's what you get to when you are properly nurtured for something. Imagine you never had the opportunity you had to grow in art. If someone wants to talk about art to you, you probably would discourage them because you never had a smooth sailing. And that's why we have this program every time to encourage you and encourage the society that we all have a huge and important role in the promotion of art in the society. Let's go on this quick break, and when we return, we continue the conversation. Please stay with us. In World of Art on OG TV, and today we're still having the conversation with a senior official at the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Ogun State, Olubukola Samuels. Well, she's a painter and a facilitator and organizer of art workshops and seminars in the state. Now, we've been able to talk about your journey which is quite an awesome one. I don't know. I just love that, there are beautiful stories of art like this because a lot of people, when you ask them of their journey, it's not always smooth and it's okay. It's part of those things that makes up an individual life. Now, let's talk about you diving into facilitating. You mentioned that because there's so much in your table, you have to dovetail a little bit into some things like Adire, and also you are taking your time to invest in young people through mentorship, through facilitating. And now let's talk about that part of you, because everyone feels like to be an artist or to promote art, you have to get yourself soaked up in paints or one thing or the other. Whereas it's a very big niche. It's a very big thing that you can decide to pick any parts to just push. So let's talk about that part of you.
Um, I think everybody has a sense of creativity in you, from the ladies' makeup to your accessories, to your hair, to your shoes, to anything. Even the way you talk is an art. It's not everybody that can talk fluently. Either way, maybe in a dialect or in English, is an art. The way you organize yourself is an art. Now, everybody believes that artists are unserious people. I'm a very organized person.
I see you. You've noticed.
I'm very organized and I like things done orderly, put in place, everything done well, neatly. So, in terms of facilitating, I enjoy watching people grow. I enjoy giving back to people. I enjoy impacting. It gives me joy. In fact, that's what keeps me going. Anybody that I come across, I'm always eager to, what do you do? Where are you coming from? Where are you going?
How we make you better.
How can you make it? And I found out that in trying to make you better, I make myself a better person. So I make sure that facilitation is not just organizing a program or staging an exhibition. Facilitation is talking to people.
I need you to talk about that facilitating well for us.
We have kids that are talented, but either their parents don't know, but they know, but they don't know how to actually, push them to work on what they have, to fan their gate. So what I do is that I facilitate exhibitions, art competitions. We had one 2 months ago at the Seminar Jibo Library. They had students coming in the SS category, senior secondary school students. They came and I co-convened with one of our artists. And what we normally do is that when we bring these kids together, we show them that you can actually do something by yourself and you get something out of it. How? You are yourself. I don't expect you to paint like me. We want to discover yourself.
I want to see you.
You don't have to paint like A. You don't have to paint like C. Whatever you want to do, you can actually do in individuality, diversity. So when we have those competitions, it helps these children to discover themselves. It helps them to express themselves. Most of these competitions, they are not so serious in such a way that they're hard and fast rule to it. We just bring them, we just call it competition so that they will have the spirit of competing. But the actual motive or the actual objective is to discover them. We are harvesting them for the future. Because we found out that art is a little bit fast extincting. If we don't revamp or reawaken it, we will lose it. So we want to latch on these children's creativity to make a better Nigeria in terms of employment. Once these children come out of school, there might not be these white-collar jobs for them. So we want to make them self-employed. We want them to think outside the box. We want them to have a vision of what their future will be by starting at the grassroots, discovering them. Okay, oh, you can't paint well, but you can draw. You can't draw, but you can design. You can't design, you can make a day. I had one exhibition, and it had children that could do adire, that could paint. So everybody had a choice. It wasn't like I was shoving it down their throat that you have to paint this, you have to do this or there. Everybody chose what they wanted to do, and we got results. So it's not just secondary schools, also artists. I'm looking forward to a situation where we'll have a repertoire of artists in Ogun State. Professional artisans. We know that, okay, we're going to do a project, the state government wants to do a project, and the state government will actually refer to people like us that, where are the artists in Ogun State? So they will get excellent job. It's not like they have to go somewhere, they won't be far-fetched. Right in this Ogun State, we will get the artists that we need, and they will give their services excellent.
You know, talking about the facilitating, especially among young ones, I was at this competition, the last one you co-sponsored. And sometimes I feel like all it takes is a competition like that to actually see what young people can do. I saw some works that day. I had to stop, look at the person who did it, and there was no even correlation between the person who made this work and the work, because the work was looking too professional. I'm talking about students that were not even up to SS1, and what they were doing there was just magical. Imagine there was no platform like that, like you co-facilitated. Such students might just have lost that passion because of one thing or the other, and it goes down the drain. So in this time where you facilitate, I guess sometimes you meet some talents and you be like, God, I cannot let this one go. I have to do all I can to push this one. Are there sometimes where you just see yourself in some of these people?
Yes, we have. I did one, the one I did 2023. I still have them. What I did was that I just picked the good one, the very talented ones, like like you're mentioning now. I actually place them under supervision or mentorship. And I still get to refer to them whenever they need one thing or the other. Their mentors refer to me, and I give them my leader's might. But I keep checking up on them, and I keep keeping tabs on them. I follow them to make sure that they are still on track. We have exceptional creativities. We have exceptional creatives in these children, exceptional. And I'm very sure that if 1, 2, 3 people can collaborate and continue this drive in harvesting these creatives, Nigeria will be a better place.
We're talking about collective responsibility in investing or cultivating this young talent. We know art is a chain of a lot of players. We have collectors, we have the artists themselves, we have the society, and we have associations like SNA. And for a program like this that is being sponsored by Prince Anthony Yemisi Shillong, Africa's largest private art collector, he's doing a lot of things to project, to promote the Nigerian art, which I think that's not what you get to see in everyday Nigeria reality. So I want you to wrap up with that in terms of, pointing out to everyone the need for them to, work together, whether as a collector, as an association, as an individual. This is our collective responsibility.
First, before I say anything, I would like to appreciate Prince Yemisi Shillong for this initiative. It has really opened our eyes to so many things that we didn't see before, even as artists. We have not seen this side so exhibited this way. He's not he's not an artist, but he's an actor collector. That means he appreciates the art and the artists. That is why he's putting down his money to sponsor such. So if, other people too will delve into this drive, this ship, you imagine what would happen. So if everybody collectively collaborates and come together, okay, I have this much, and we bring it together, everybody will bring their ideas, will bring diverse innovations that will further help these children to discover themselves and thrive in future.
I want to say thank you so much for being on the program today. Your journey into art is such an inspiration, and the fact that it did not just end there, you still kept this fire burning and even transferring all that you have gained for yourself into young people. It means that the future of art in Nigeria, in Ogun State, is not lost, and it will just keep getting better. The more we do, the more we get results. Thank you again for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
This is the size of the program today. When we talk about promoting art in the society, this is where you get it from, directly from all the players, everyone involved in the promotion of art. We've had a very beautiful conversation with a painter and a senior officer in the Ministry of Culture and Tourism within state, Mrs. Olubukola Samuels. Thank you again for watching the program. This program is brought to you by Prince Engineer Yamisi Shilon, legal practitioner, Africa's largest private art collector, brand owner, and chairman of Council, Yamisi Shilon Museum of Art, in collaboration with Society of Nigerian Artists. My name is Miriam Osman. I'll see you next week, God's willing. Bye for now.